Yes, guys, welcome back to SFeatleyTV, and it's our first match preview of the new season, and we're facing Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park. I want to meet my two special guests today. I'm going to start with Patrick from Back in the Nest. How are you?
Good, thanks. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Wicked. And Rich, you probably remember him from last season. So, how you doing, man?
Yeah, doing good, and it's good to see obviously Patrick, legend in the game,
Wicked. And welcoming my usual co-host Manny. How you doing, my friend?
Yeah, can't complain. You know, during the intro, I actually just did a few press-ups, 40. Anything, I've got to keep my shoulders strong. You're getting older, you've got to get your sets in.
Yeah. You gotta get right. There you go. I'll back off on that one. So, anyway, big up to everyone. Ryan, how are you? Big up Mike as well. Big up Craig. Yeah. So I'm gonna start. Obviously, this first game of the season, we can only really go off what's happened pre-season. But what I will ask actually, Rich. I'll ask you, Rich, first. How have you felt of how Crystal Palace have been over pre-season?
You know what? The way we did things kind of brought a bit of a debate amongst Palace Twitter. Now, if you know anything about Palace Twitter, meltdowns happen a lot.
No different to Arsenal then.
Good point. We split our squad predominantly because of vaccination rules and such, and also Vieira wanted to have a look at certain players, especially the youngsters. So split our squad. When we went to the like Australia and Thailand, Bangkok, I believe it was.
Singapore.
Singapore, thank you.
Yeah.
2 defeats and 1 draw, but it was a great experience for the youth. You know, we had a few experienced players there, but the youth, you could look at them and say, you know what, some of you you're almost ready. You know, David Ozo against Leeds was incredible. You know, so if you see him in the starting lineup anytime soon, don't be surprised. You know, same with Killian Phillips as well. I thought he had a very, very good preseason. And we saw Malcolm, and Vieira's already said you're not going out on loan. You know, because he feels he's ready. But the biggest plus side, regardless of the results, is that a lot of our players got 60 to 90 minutes of football regularly, which is so important for pre-season. When you decide to hold one squad, you feel like maybe half the squad's getting 90 minutes, the other half isn't. It's a massive imbalance. So for me, I'm happy. I'm happy with how pre-season has gone. I feel we're short a few players. But we're good. I'm happy. We're ready to go.
Yeah, I actually agree. I mean, I'm still like really impressed from what happened last season. I mean, Ryan City makes it quite clear here. He's doing a great job. Vieira doing a great job at Palace. I remember saying after we played you and drew 2-2 that like you seem to have created in the space of 3 months what Arteta's taking 3 years to do. Right? Strike one. No, I don't have an agenda. No, of course not. He got Palace to, and you get Palace to semi-finals. We get knocked out in the 3rd round, and just the way you were taking some teams apart in the league, you are not the team that anyone wanted to face in the Premier League last season. And I do feel Vieira can easily build on that going into this season. So, I mean, I'll ask you, Patrick, I mean, how do you feel? Do you feel that Vieira's got the squad pretty much prepared to how he wants it? Or is there something you want to still see in the transfer market or anything like that?
Well, like Rich just said, I'm very happy with how preseason went as far as the split squad and players getting playing time. We brought in, so far, Chris Richards, who's a centre half from Bayern Munich. We've got COYG, who's a holding midfielder. Sam Johnston, a goalkeeper. Michael Bowe, midfielder forward and Luke Plant. So I think we're probably light. To me, we have to replace Conor Gallagher in some way. Now, the way that Vieira's set up in pre-season, you're going to see a lot more of Eberechi Eze in a free number 10 role, which can be great for us. So I'm thinking this season we're going to be playing Jeffrey Schlupp as a more box-to-box player. But I still think we need someone in there a little bit younger than Schlupp, a little bit more creative than Schlupp, has scored some more goals than Schlupp does. Schlupp does come up with some big goals every once in a while, but that and maybe right back. Now with right back now, we've got Nathaniel Klein, who played some of last season, especially more towards the end, and Joel Ward, who's been at the club for 10 plus years now, and they've done a good job. In Vieira's system that I think that he wants to go to eventually, we need players that are more mobile, can get forward a little bit more, a little bit younger. So I think Richard agree with me. I see him not in there. We're going to need a right back, I think, at some point. Rumors about Anwan Bissaka. I'm not big on him coming back unless it's at a cut rate price. I'm not interested in loaning him back just for a season. But I think we can get a midfielder and a right back. We've already added some very key young pieces around the squad. I know the goalkeeper, again, Joss, is going to be massive when he's injury-free to back up or actually push Guaita. I think we'll be in great shape. I mean, our forward line, we've got Edward, Benteke, Mateta. I'm very
Edward is a quality.
Yeah, Zaha's had a brilliant pre-season.
Yeah, I've seen some of it.
So I mean, as far as the squad looks, I think we're fine. Again, just maybe a midfielder and a right back, and we'll be fine. But again, I just love the way he goes about his business. Him and Dougie Freeman have done a great job in the last 2 years, adding core young players to our team. We've got some good youngsters. I mean, Rich did a great job. David Ozo is 17 years old, and he might go out on loan to a League One side or Champions side. He's that well developed in that culture as a player. He's going to be pushing for a place next season. Kinley Phillips got from Ireland last season. Did a really good job, I thought, playing in a lot of the Australia and Singapore matches. So we've got options there. But like I said, I'm very happy with where we are so far squad wise.
Wicked. I mean, I agree with what ISG just said here. As in Elisa, it would only get better, especially under Vieira's guidance. Big up Bargav as well. Vieira, the better manager, but Arteta needs his talented players to overcome the lack of managing experience. Exactly, right? And what Jesus, a healthy Partey and Zinchenko, exactly. As a free 10 gonna be interesting.
Oh yes.
Yeah, definitely. Palace needs to move on from old strikers and get a new one in. Do agree with that, to be honest. I hope we ain't getting jumped by. I'm hoping so. Like, I'm hoping Jesus scores them more than 15 goals. He actually goes over 20 this time. So I'm going to ask you, Manny, and I'll say it as well. How do you feel that the Arsenal's pre-season has gone?
Yeah, before I do that, Stephen, I've just been informed of some very, very sad news indeed. It is pertaining to Crystal Palace, actually, and I'm sure that Eagle Eye and Patrick might probably have memories of him. Former Crystal Palace star and Latvian international who was capped 117 times for his country, Andres Rubins, passed away an hour ago at the age of 43. I mean, today.
Oh, no.
He played, of course, he played 170 times for his country, and he had spells at Spartak Moscow and the Eagles. In fact, yes, he was at the club 37 times between 2000 and 2002 and scored a memorable goal in the 2001 League Cup against Liverpool. And he also scored a 30-yard screamer against Leicester City, also in the League Cup, with the strike helping Palace reach the semi-finals of that competition that season. Very, very sad news indeed, and I will share this story right now so that people can see that, yeah?
Yeah, definitely.
No, thanks for sharing. It broke out across all the platforms earlier today and stuff. So
yeah, can you all see this now?
Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah, it's from the Evening Standard.
Yeah,
right.
Very sad news. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure that both of you gentlemen might have memories of him. I mean, those two goals I mentioned, he didn't score more than those two, but they were a couple of screamers, I'd imagine.
Too young.
Yeah, I actually remember that cup run was pretty epic for us. getting up to Liverpool, and that goal was an absolute brilliant goal against Liverpool. I remember Clinton Morrison, how well he played leading up to that cup run. But Rubins was a big player, again, only with us for a season, but really energetic, creative winger. Enjoy watching him play. It's really sad news to hear that he passed away. So, especially.
Yeah,
Very
sad,
sad.
obviously, very sad.
Yeah.
But Manny,
Yes.
Arsenal's pre-season. What are you?
I do apologise for that, by the way, Stephen, but I had to mention that.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's absolutely fine. It needs to mention.
Yeah, and people have been going on and on about how the team has looked very incisive during pre-season. I would agree that, Jesus and Zinchenko coming in have sort of their performances. I mean, Jesus definitely has been, a man on fire. Zinchenko's come in and slotted in quite seamlessly. The midfield has also looked quite good, but one thing which mustn't be forgotten is that as well as Xhaka and Odegaard were able to play during the pre-season, it's basically thanks to the fact that Partey was able to, be a part of that team. And there's still a lot of doubts as to whether he will actually be here this season with regard to injuries and a few other issues, which I don't want to get into. And people have also forgotten about the loss to Brentford behind closed doors. Yes, people have brushed it off by saying that was the B team which played. But it is a reminder that we're not going to get to play the likes of Sevilla or a frankly poor Chelsea team week in and week out. It's those teams, and that's why we, it's really important to make sure that we put that into perspective, because we're coming up against the Eagles, who are managed, of course, by our former legend. Beat us 3-0 at Selhurst Park, if we all remember that. I mean, that was a part of that 3-game slump, if you will, where I don't think we even scored a goal. And so that's why we always need to have some perspective when it comes to pre-season. So yes, the team has looked incisive, but I would say that the type of manager Vieira is, he will have done his homework on us and made sure that he knows a little bit more about the players that have come into the team and the system that they've used during pre-season and so forth. We can't afford to get ourselves hyped up about it. And we've been here before. Great in pre-season, we come a cropper when it matters. They have looked good, though, when they've looked good. I won't deny that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll ask Sait the same question, how he feels about how pre-season, because it's very easy. I mean, I've already seen like Arsenal fans going absolutely nuts because we're doing well in pre-season, right? But I'll ask you, how do you feel this pre-season's gone so far, Sait?
Yeah, first of all, thanks for having me on, and big up to everyone that's in the panel, and big up to everyone that's in the chat as well. I'm on my way home, so excuses if the line isn't the best. But in regards to pre-season, the things that I usually look at that for me is important is how prepared is the team, physically, how fit are we, how sharp is the players, how does the system look? Because everything else is a bit irrelevant, because whether you're winning or losing, the main thing with pre-season games is to get your fitness up and is to improve on your system that you want to use during the main season. But obviously, it's never wrong to win games and score a lot of goals. So in general, what's impressed me with Arsenal is we look so much stronger when it comes to fitness. The players look like they put on some muscles. They look like they run more than they did last season, and they look sharp, and that's good to see. And for me, the way you analyze preseason is after the first 5 games, if you won majority of those games, then you can say, yeah, we had a good preseason. But if you go on and you have a mare like we had last season, then all of a sudden it's irrelevant. So for me, for once, Arsenal looked prepared for the season. I cannot remember the last time I could say that. But again, it's all about what we do on Friday for me before I can start making, a big analyze or take too much from it. But I'm excited for the game. If I'm honest, I'm excited for the game.
Yeah, I'd say for one thing, there's no excuses now. Like, I don't want to hear any more excuses. It's been 3 years down the line. You've had nearly 300 odd million to spend. Right? There's no more excuses. Right? I'm not hearing this anymore. right? If you can't even beat Palace, or right, and that's nothing against Palace, right? But if you can't beat them to be able to get at least top four after spending 300 odd million quid, then you should be gone. Simple, right? Especially when managers don't even need, especially elite managers, don't even need 300 million to get top four, right? Klopp and Conte won 2 of them, right? So, yes, he's done well in pre-season, and we've got great results, but pre-season's pre-season. We beat Chelsea 4-0 in pre-season. Are we going to beat them in the league? Are you going to beat them 4-0 in the league? No. No. And if you really do believe that, then you really are deluded. Because it's never going to happen. So this for me has got this sort of game at Selhurst Park away on a Friday night was exactly like last season. Brentford away, Friday night football. Right? If that team, and so for me, it's that I'm actually worried about this game as our first game. I'd rather we had a few games under our belt before we had to go to Selhurst Park. But yeah, for me, this will really tell whether Arsenal have the credentials to actually go on and have the mentality this time to take fourth spot and actually get top four rather than bottling it in the end or bottling it at certain points of the season. For me,
And I think this will be a good mental test. They're like now. There's no such thing as you remember last season we had a lot of injuries, COVID cases, players that we were signing. We signed them
yeah,
after the season has started.
first 3 games
We,
didn't
we don't have
count.
any. We don't have any of those issues this season. We don't have any real issue this season. So now it's more down to mentality, character, personality. These are the things that I'm going to look at against Palace. And if we are spot on those categories, it's going to be a good game. But if we turn up and we are nervous and we are sloppy and we don't go into the duels, they're going to smash us.
That's the thing. You've got to have the right mentality to go to Selhurst Park because otherwise, Crystal Palace will take you apart. Right? I'm not going to deny that they will take you apart if you're not going there mentally prepared. They will have you. Right? It's simple as that. I still think Arsenal will beat Crystal Palace. I think Arsenal will win 2-1 against Palace. Just speaking the truth, but yeah, it's all about mentality. And that's what it proved last season. So if we have injuries, then Arsenal down the drain. We have no sub quality. Arsenal's bench is our squad's too thin, and I've said this from the start. I've never been impressed with our transfer business because we've got 2 guys that are definitely going to start every week. We've got one guy who's going to be slowly fed in because he's not ready from Portugal to the Premier League at 23. It's not ready yet. So and you've bought a 19-year-old that's not even going to be featured for another couple of seasons. So yeah, for me, the transfer window has still not been good enough, and this is probably a more difficult season out of all of them because of the fixture congestion due to the World Cup in December. I mean, how do you feel like do you feel Patrick Crystal Palace will cope with the fixture congestion? How's the squad depth with your side?
I think we'll be okay. As I mentioned before, we do need to add maybe 1 or 2 more players, but overall, we've got 3 quality goalkeepers. Defensively, with adding Chris Richards to Anderson and Gahey, I think we're fine centre half wise. We've got Nathan Ferguson coming back from an injury who could be key. Yes, we maybe have a problem right back. Left back, we're fine with Mitchell. Midfield, I'm loving Decore, the way he's looked as a schlub. Fine. We've got Will Hughes, we've got MacArthur, who's injured at the moment, but he's a veteran. Luka Milivojevic is our captain. And up front, someone mentioned before about us needing younger strikers. I mean, Edouard's 24, Mateta's 25. Any younger strikers, I think we just need them to start scoring more goals. I mean, you mentioned Jesus. We get 10 to 15 from either one of those two. I think we'll be fine. So our squad depth, I think, is pretty decent. I'm not worried about how things might pan out heading towards December, as far as with the World Cup. But I'm just hoping we can get off to a good start at the beginning of the season. I think we'll be fine. I think that our squad depth will be pretty decent this season.
It's always been something that I'm worried about with Arsenal, obviously, and I think maybe the fact is also Crystal Palace. I mean, we're having to play not just domestic competitions; we're having to play Europe as well. This will be a season where you sort of need a second side, or a very not maybe so much have. It's like we have 23 players, or actually, to be fair, we've got on our books 32 players.
Okay.
But some of them, they'll come back, and Arsenal and Arteta's never going to use them because he doesn't want them. So because he doesn't want to never use them, no matter what. And that's just his own stubbornness. And the others, I feel, is just that they're not quality enough.
Right.
They're just not good enough. So when you take maybe Jesus off, you bring Nketiah on. Someone's giving him hang on, you've given him the number 14 shirt. The number 14 shirt. Come on. And it's sitting on the bench. Let's be honest. Jesus is the number 9 who's going to be up front. And Nketiah, who's number 14 on his shirt, is going to be sitting on the bench. Lovely. Yeah, this is exactly what I wanted.
So I have a question. I have a question. So we're going to have maybe a few players away for the World Cup, obviously. Jordan Ayew will probably be there. Maybe Mark Gahey, Joachim Anderson, Chris Richards will be there for USA. But you guys are going to have quite a few players gone for the World Cup. So I'm actually thinking, what's going to happen to you guys post World Cup? You're talking about the fixture congestion. You're going to have that with the Europe of this year edition. But what will happen, you guys think, when you guys come back in December, January, when maybe Jesus is gone, Martinelli's going to be out there, Saliba will be out there. Yeah, well, quite me. Odegaard. No, not sorry. Smith Rowe, Saka. A lot of players will probably be in England squad. What do you think will happen when they come back?
Is exactly what happened last season with the Africa Cup of Nations?
Right, AFCON, right.
Luckily, Partey had a dreadful AFCON, right? And he came back early. Thank God.
Right.
Right? But we weren't good. We weren't good during that period while he was away, right? Because Partey is literally about the only decent midfielder we've got, pretty much. If you look at it overall, I mean, Manny, how do you feel with this whole World Cup in December? Like with the depth, also with Arsenal squad depth, like. Is this something you are worried about?
Yes, in a nutshell. And you mentioned Partey as well, right? I don't know if the AFCON will be taking place. Hopefully the AFCON might be next season, not too sure. But if it's in a situation where, the congestion is a little bit too much for him, he obviously goes to the World Cup with Ghana as the captain and then comes back and has that whole, that whole block of fixtures. What's going to happen to him? I don't know that much about his fitness, and that's going to be a pivotal position because, as I've said in the beginning of the show, if it weren't for him, you wouldn't have Granit Xhaka and Martin Odegaard doing as well as they did in pre-season. Partey was able to be the person who could help that happen, a little bit like the way Roy Keane was with Manchester United. So yes, I am worried about the depth, and as you've also mentioned, Stephen, we have 2 separate teams. The first team is I wouldn't say outstanding, but definitely good quality. But the bench is not really up to scratch. And if we have a situation where most of our internationals are away, then it will be very, very difficult indeed. I am worried about the depth.
Yeah, that is worried. Yeah, there's no quality to the depth. And actually, ISG just put it down for us. Arsenal's World Cup. Ramsdale off, Saliba off, Gabriel off, White off. No, White won't be off. No. No, Southgate's not that stupid.
You say that, but you know, the
don't
centre back
start.
for England. No, listen, you don't even know what I want to say. But the centre backs for England ain't that great. You know, it's like Connor Cody, it's in the England squad. Tyrone Mings, it's in the England squad. Like, it's a possibility that Ben White goes. It doesn't mean that he will play, but there's a big possibility that he will be part of that England squad because he's been called up for England. That doesn't mean that.
I want to win the World Cup. I don't want him there.
Mark Gay should start.
It's not about what you want. England is never winning the World Cup anyway, so you can just relax now.
Yeah. Well, technically, we've already won Europe.
It's more likely that Spurs win a trophy before England does.
Mate, Sait, we're European champions. Hang on. Say it. Hush your gums. We're European champions. Shut up.
Yeah, your females are. The lineup.
Don't care. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, of course it
doesn't matter.
Because they are actually up for it. When you got guys like Maguire and Harry Kane in the squad, they're winning. It's the history of Tottenham.
I'm sorry. So you're saying it doesn't count because it's a women's team?
No, I'm saying that the women's team didn't have any Spurs players. And they won. And the men's team have Spurs players, and they didn't. That's the difference.
Well, so what? It still counts.
I didn't say it didn't count. You're not listening to my argument. I'm saying the women's team are winning because they got winners in the squad, and the men's team are not winning because they got bottled.
I can't help if we've got Southgate in charge, but what do you want?
Yeah, I want you to keep bottling it. Keep him. Give him a lifetime contract. He's a bum.
Yeah. How's your team?
I'm happy. I don't want to see England win.
Yeah, how's your team?
Brazil, I think
what happened to your master plan in Euros, mate? You thought you were winning it.
Listen, everybody knows that Sweden is just a sideman thing in it to wind you guys up. I don't even rate them that much.
Anyway,
World Cup.
We're going to a different. We're going to a different hemisphere. We're going to a different thing entirely. Let's keep this. Anyway. Yeah. Sorry about that.
What was Santic saying about the AFCON?
It's been postponed.
Yeah, it's been postponed. There's no AFCON for a while.
Then that's good. Because that means the party won't have that thing to deal with. As will because you need to mention, Patrick, that there are a few Africans in your squad as well. So thankfully, they're also going to be free from that extra headache.
Yeah.
CONCACAF are a bunch of idiots. I'm sorry, but
I mean,
let me not even get into that. Let's move on.
I'll ask Rich.
But in regards to now I was going to say in regards to our squad depth, obviously it is a worry because we saw last season what happened. And the difference this season is that we have now a cover for Kiratini in Zinchenko, which is way better than Nuno Tavares. We now have William Saliba, who I believe is...
Sorry, I've got to cut in here. Sorry. Dan. It's Southgate's fault for fucking picking him.
I don't blame him. He's never seen his team lift league trophies. And
he's 19 years old. You should not be taking a penalty. You should have said no.
Especially after Southgate's own miss in Euro 96.
Especially when you had players like Calvert-Lewin, right, and Rashford.
Let's focus on England on another stream. Yeah, we're gonna be here forever.
Yeah, sorry, man. But you were saying.
So I was saying, in terms of on squad depth, I like that we got Zinchenko, Jesus, and Saliba now. We didn't have them three players last season. I think they're gonna improve us. I think it's good that we also got Vieira as a replacement for Ødegaard because we do know that Ødegaard sometimes he loses form, and in certain games, he just doesn't suit the kind of player he is. But for me, we still need more players. And for once, the manager and Edu have actually said that we need more players and that they're going to get it. So it's now up to them to make sure that we do before deadline. And maybe that's why we are shipping away so many players. But again, you can't really praise Arsenal until the evidence is there, because we've seen previously they will say one thing and do another. But I do think that we will get another 2 or 3 player in. How good they are, I don't know. We'll just have to see.
I'm not too optimistic about that side because we've seen them dilly-dally for a long part of the season. They still haven't made a decision on the Tielemans issue, and they need another good central midfielder. So if they haven't taken any action then, I don't know if any haphazard action taken now at the 11th hour will bring any kind of dividends. So we'll have to see about it, but I'm not too confident.
I'm going to tell you this here, Manny.
Mm-hmm.
I have a source who's quite close to the club. That doesn't mean that what he says is 100%. It doesn't mean that what he's been told is going to happen. But
I see. Look, what's this? He's got a new YouTube channel now. He's getting all these close sources of the club, is he? Oh, yeah.
Hey, don't be jealous, man. Don't be jealous. No, but according, I knew him before this anyway. But according to him,
yeah, of course you do.
Tielemans wants to come to Arsenal. Personal deal, all of that is already there. Arsenal are the one who are trying to get someone else in. He's the plan B. So they've said that they will buy 2 players. If they do it, fine. If they don't, then we can go at them. But from what I've heard, he's a really reliable source. They are going to buy players.
Okay.
I will take you and your source's word for it. Word is bond, as they would say.
Bear in mind, the guy. I'll bear it in mind. Sait did tell me we'll be signing Tielemans by 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, but that was not backed by a source. That was just my own thoughts. Rich, I want to ask you,
Yeah.
beside the obvious one in Saha and Essay, who should Arsenal worry for this game? Who's the threat for Crystal Palace, would you say?
I'm going to say one that seems quite obvious and one that I think you're going to be surprised about. Now, I think Chet Decore will probably do a very good job in keeping Odegaard quiet. I'm not saying it'll be easy, but I'm more confident than I was. I mean, Chet Kyoto did a decent enough job last season, but his legs, he just didn't have the legs, in my personal opinion. And he wasn't the best defensive midfielder to progress the ball as well. And stuff. So in Chet Decore, we've got both. Now, this one might surprise you because I'm not his biggest fan, but I do understand the importance he has in our team. And that's Jordan Ayew. His ability to just hold up the ball, buy fouls, it just alleviates pressure. Naturally, we're going to expect Arsenal to probably have more of the ball Friday night. So when we do get the ball forward, we're going to need to keep hold of it, in order to progress up the field. So obviously, apart from the obvious, those are the 2 I'm looking at.
Absolutely. I'll ask you, Rich. What would you go for a lineup if you're looking to try and outsmart Arsenal? Because I think you want to try and get at us from the minute one. I think that's what you did last season, which really just took us off our game completely. We couldn't settle in the game at all.
I don't think our lineup's going to change too much from the Montpellier game, personally, which was Gaeta in goal. But I would put Richards right back and just see how he gets on with it. But I'm hoping Klein starts right back because I don't think Richards will start. So I'll go Klein right back, Gay, Anderson centre backs, Mitchell left back, the same midfield 3, Decore, Schlupp and Eze, and the same front three: Zaha, Edouard, and Ayew.
I would also actually ask. I'll ask Patrick and also get your opinion on it as well. One player that would be probably key to it, that you'd be missing, Keeley. One key player you'll probably be missing now this season is Conor Gallagher. Since he's gone back to Chelsea, how much of an impact, Patrick, is that going to have for Crystal Palace?
I think it really depends on how Vieira looks to play. Like I said, Gallagher was a massive addition to us last year. We played to his strengths. I mean, we used his legs, his ability to get forward, his goal scoring ability. But as Rich and I have been saying, Eberechi Eze is now a year past his terrible injury, has looked brilliant during pre-season. We've given him a free role in that 4-3-3 Rich just mentioned. We never played with number 10 before. Now we have a true number 10 who can create goals for players like Edouard and Zaha. Created a great goal for Zaha on Saturday against Montpellier. A brilliant flick over the defender and run forward. He scored goals this preseason. He set up goals. So Gallagher's going to be a miss, but I think Jeffrey Schlupp can do some things that Gallagher did, which was provide the energy, the pressing that we need. But again, I think we might need a player a little bit younger than Schlupp at some point. But I think for Friday's match, I think we'll be okay because, like I said, I think Eze brings something different. His link-up play with Zaha's been incredible. Since he's been back in preseason. They were the two of them that got to stay back, didn't go on tour, so they were able to play together, which I think really, really helped. And I think Zaha's been such great form that he loves playing with Eze. So, yeah, we're going to miss Gallagher in a lot of ways. But again, what I really like about Vieira is the way that he can change things up. He doesn't look to play one system. I think at some point in the year, we're going to go to 3 at the back. We've got Chris Richards now that can play centre half along with Gehi and Anderson. As I mentioned before, we need to get another wing back in the right side. I like Klein, but he doesn't really have the ability to play wing back. Mitchell can on the left side. But I just think that having Vieira in there allows us to change formations. We've pushed our left back up higher in positions during preseason that makes a 3 in the back. I mean, he just does things I really like. And I've always been an advocate. I coached for a long, long time of having managers or coaches that are flexible, which is why I love Vieira. So I think US will miss Gallagher, but I think we've moved past that in the way that Vieira is looking to. He just adapts, and he's adapted really well.
Status asked about possible rumor about Zaha going to Roma. Is that true or false?
Nah, it's paper talk. I mean, as Rich mentioned, he's in the last year of his contract. We'd love to have him for sign a new contract. I think I'm of the mindset he's given us so much over his time at Palace. I wish him no ill will if he chooses to leave at the end of the season, go wherever, whether it's Europe, a club in England. I prefer him to go to Europe, obviously. But
I feel
Roma's
his chance.
not.
Sorry. I feel his chance, probably a big team in England, has probably gone by for me.
Probably right. Yeah.
I mean, Arsenal, I remember being famously be very interesting, and we decided to get Pepe instead.
Right.
I don't know whether it had been any better or not. I don't know. So, but I definitely feel that he's probably maybe looking at somewhere in Europe. Maybe Roma could be a club he could definitely play for as that sort of level of team. I think it depends on what he wants to do, whether he wants to stay in England or not. So, and you never know. He may just say, "Well, maybe the top clubs will pass me by. I'll stick with Crystal Palace, right? And maybe be a folk hero for Palace because some players are like that as well. They'd rather just stick with one club."
Well, he already is a folk hero. He's got a young family. He's just got engaged. He's got an academy going in South London. I mean, he's got a lot of reasons to stay here. But like you said, the opportunity domestically probably had passed him by. But I wouldn't put it past the opportunity to go to Europe and play Europa League next season or Champions League team next year. But again, whatever he does next season, I'm happy with. He's given us all he could possibly give us. So I'm fine with it.
And to follow that sentiment,
but if he does leave, worst case scenario, who would you have replacing him? That's another question you might have to consider.
Well, we've got players there already.
We do. We've got Raksaki, we've got Ebowie, we've got players
Edward could play
already
on the
lined
left-hand
up.
side.
Edward, yeah.
You know, so we got players.
And that is an example of squad depth. You take a look, we talk about our squad depth. We still haven't really been able to strengthen in the central midfield. Our defense isn't even fully sorted yet. Yeah.
Hang on, like we're trying to buy one or two players to say we need to increase our squad depth. Yet we've just let Balogun go offline on loan.
Yeah, but Balogun isn't good enough, Stephen. Like he's not shown that he's good enough to play.
Listen,
Listen,
Nketiah good enough though? Is Nketiah good enough though?
But Eddie Nketiah is better than Balogun right now. Balogun may have more potential and may become a better player, but Balogun hasn't shown anything yet that tells me that he's good enough to play for Arsenal. If I'm honest, I know he's had a lot of hype. I used to be a big fan of him, but when he's played senior football, he's yet to impress, and that is why he's going on loan. And if we want to become a team that wants to be fighting for top four, wants to win trophies, then we can't have Balogun as good as where he is now in the squad, in my opinion. I mean, you may disagree, but I feel like we need better.
I understand that. It's just
like we have so many young players. We don't lack young players. We lack senior players. If anything, what we need is more established players. No, we still got Martinelli. He is young. Smith Rowe is young. Saka is young. Eddie is young.
But the problem is we can't get rid of the players that are experienced and that we don't need. Like your Torreiras, your Bellerins. We can't get rid of them.
But they are moving now. Like Torreira is almost signed for, is it Galatasaray or Fenerbahce? One of the Turkish teams. I'm sorry for the ignorance, but I forgot. But he's almost signed a deal for a Turkish team. Leno just left yesterday. They are trying to find a deal with Betis to get rid of Bellerin. So these players, they are trying to get rid of them. I don't agree with the way we're getting rid of them or for the prices they are leaving at, but that's another day for another discussion. But they are leaving. What I want to say and where I will judge the club is who do we bring in, how good are they, and at what level can we expect them to bring to Arsenal? That's where I would judge the club. Honestly, like for me, we just need to show ambition. You know, we need to go there and try and get 2-3 high quality players. That's what we need to do.
Yeah. Sait, I just want to come in over here because you and I were having a debate about the treatment of Torreira. And to answer your question, he was supposed to have agreed a deal to sign for Galatasaray, not Fenerbahce. But this is an interesting story. And again, you can take this with a pinch of salt. It's from The Sun, which most people wouldn't use.
Did you say The Sun?
Yeah, did you say The Sun? Seriously.
Yeah. Well, most people wouldn't even want to use that as toilet paper.
And all my Liverpool fans have just disappeared.
Yeah, okay. I'm not going to share that. Then. But
thank
it is said that apparently Torreira refused to get on the plane, and I don't want to completely scroll down over it. I think if there are Liverpool fans over here, then let me offer my apologies. I will not share any Sun articles again.
Trust me, I'm not sharing it.
Listen, Manny, you know what I think? It's not even personal towards Torreira. I'm just of the mindset, if the player doesn't want to commit to the club and year in, year out shows that he wants to leave, then go. For me, I don't want players at the club that doesn't want to play for the club, even if he was a world-class player. That's just my mentality.
I can agree with that. The club have a responsibility to do what they can by him and by them too. That's all I'll say.
Yep, I'm gonna go through some of the chat. Big up Lou for the donation.
Rich, you go to the game, right?
Yeah, I'll be there.
What about you, Patrick? Are you going?
I'm in America, mate, so it's a bit far to travel.
Sorry.
All right.
Me assuming that every Palace fan is in London.
Well, I was born in South London. I just moved to America when I was young, so I've been here for a while. But I never lost my allegiance to Palace. So.
It's good.
Who's your all-time favorite Palace player?
I have two. Kenny Sansom went to Arsenal,
Yeah.
and Ian Wright, who went to Arsenal.
Yeah.
Oh,
Which is why I hate
Yeah.
Arsenal. I
Yeah.
just want to say that.
Yeah. Ian Wright. He's
Ian Wright's mine.
such a great footballer. Absolute
Yep.
shit pundit.
Brilliant. Oh, ouch.
He is. Iron
No,
Clonky
you
out.
Don't even
but
have
look
no
at
respect for his elders.
So,
Well, listen,
I'm
Patrick,
sorry,
you've
let's
got Patrick Nash manager now. You
hold
need
the
to
phone,
find
hold the
You need to
Hold the
school
phone.
these young kids here.
No,
They have no respect for their elders.
No, say it. Shush.
You see how he's talking
You're
to
good.
me.
I
He's telling
see.
you to
This
shush.
should.
Where's the manners?
Because you agree with me in 5 seconds. Oh, I'm Cronky out, but go buy a new shirt, guys.
You know, Patrick, I was half expecting you to say someone like Nigel Martin or maybe Mark Bright or someone else. Even Dougie Friedman.
I love Bright, but I'm older than I look. I go back to the 70s, so I go back to Vince Allaire. I watched him in our youth team and Kenny Sansom and those lads. So I go back to there. But like I said, when I moved to America, early 80s, that's when we were kind of not very good. And then obviously Wright and Bright came around. So I love that team under CD Koppel. But yeah, I mean, you cannot not love Ian Wright. He was brilliant for us. So better for you, obviously, but great for us.
The thing with Wrighty is that sorry guys to say this, maybe this sounds a bit biased, but I feel like Wrighty brought culture and love and hope for a lot of young black players to become professional footballers. And if you look at his story from where he was and how long it took to him before he came to the Premier League, a lot of people could look up to him as the hero, and he was different with his goal celebration, coloring his hair. These were new stuff for us. So as someone who was young, be able to look up to someone as Righty, and I think that's the reason why so many youngsters or so many people from London or England or black people like really loves Ian Wright because of what he did as a footballer to the culture.
Absolutely. Jez, thank you so much. Really do appreciate it. Hosting, I hope your history show went well. I'm sure if I've got something wrong, you can point it out to me. But
big up Jess, old school, real Arsenal fan.
Oh yeah, paying you back for your super chat for the young. Oh, you didn't have to do that, mate. Honestly, but really, thank you for respect for that. Absolutely.
Steven, make sure you send me my share, yeah.
Yeah. No, you got your own channel now. Sure. You left.
Ooh.
I know.
Yes, Steve, a great player, but
some people are bitter. What can I say?
Twitey twerks for the club. That's why I say, if you're saying you're Conky out, why are you promoting their gear?
I think this is a good question, to your Palace fans. What do you make of Ian Wright? Do you look at it as if, okay, he had a standpoint where he was Cronky out, and then the club paid him, and now he's Cronky in? Is it wrong? Is it right? Do you understand it? What's your view on it? Because obviously, as Arsenal fans, we have another view on it. But it's interesting to see how other people look
that's
at
a good
it.
point. We'll move on afterwards because we have to move on.
Start
with Rich.
You can see the sun's really just come out now. But
before you go, big up to Lewis Potter, Super G, B as well. And which investors do not fund the. Absolutely.
Go. Obviously, I don't know the ins and outs of Ian Wright in your club, but if you're saying that he changed his stance based on financial gain, then that's not a good look. Obviously, if he had changed his mind just solely on evidence that, say, your owners had made a change, then that's fair enough. But so I can't really, give like a proper insight because I don't know about it, to be fair.
I'm with Rich, but see, I have a different perspective. Like I said, I've been in America for a very long time, and I know it by the sound of it, you guys are very anti-Cronky, but over here, his teams do very, very well. I know he's American, but his hockey team just won. His football team just won.
Get out. Get out.
So I'm not
Get
quite
out of
sure.
here.
I know he and to me, he put money into the team. At least he definitely has in this transfer market. So I get how in the past you may have been, not big Kroenke fans, but I think honestly that at least from what I see, he puts money into the team and wants to win. So that's just my view. So.
And
Yeah,
you will never see.
But
You will
actually,
never
I also
see
hate
that
Arsenal,
you-
so I don't really care what happens to you guys, honestly.
That's
Right,
what I'm
it's
saying. And
disgusting
you'll never
that
see
you say
Patrick,
that.
and you're never going to see Patrick coming here again because he's promoting Conky. So there we go.
I'm joking.
Okay, so listen, so if this is his last appearance, I just want to ask you, Patrick.
Sure.
You know, you moved to the States. You moved to the US in the early '80s, right? Now that was a
Right.
time when we didn't really have the advantage of internet, leave alone social media. How are you able to keep in touch with football going on back home?
It's a great question. So 2 ways. My father worked in Manhattan in the city, and there was a newsstand that would get the English newspapers. So every Monday he'd get me the paper for the weekend, and I'd read up on it. And also I bought a shortwave radio. I listened to BBC World Service. So on Saturday mornings they had a TV show that they would give all the scores and the commentary. So I followed Palace that way. So that was difficult. That was at least 10 years that then obviously the internet came around and I was able to follow through the 90s. But it was difficult because in that time in America, they didn't really they showed maybe one football match a week, 30-minute highlight show. It was very difficult to follow. And then obviously now it's unbelievable. Access over here now is ridiculous. I can see more games over here than you guys can see in England right now. That's how great the access is. But back then, it was very difficult. And I'd go back to England every summer, that way to keep up. But it was difficult. But I mean, thanks to my dad, I did a lot of reading of the papers back then. That was the best way to keep up with it. Yeah, that and the radio.
Amazing, amazing. That right here, everyone is a true, proper football fan.
Yeah, cheers.
This is why I have so much respect for fans all over the world, regardless of which team you support, that wake up at stupid hours to watch their team play. Listen, I did it during preseason, and I was knackered for days, and that was just like 2-3 games, and, so
that's the routine.
Honestly,
get up.
Mate, this guy decided, Stephen, you don't watch on pre-season. I ain't done a mix at midnight. What are you on about? He said, no, he's on, it's 8. No, it's at midnight, mate. He went, no, it's 8. Check the fixture schedule. It's midnight. And he looks at it, he went, oh yeah, it's midnight, fuck that.
I watched the game.
Yeah, but you weren't going to do a watch along through it.
This is why I respect international fans. Yeah, honestly, I don't feel like you've been given enough respect and recognition from clubs. I feel like it's starting to change, but honestly, you are the ones who make club global. You are probably the fans who spend most money on merch and on TV rights and stuff like that. So the reason why clubs, Premier League clubs all over the world can call themselves global is because of fans that lives globally around the world.
Right.
So honestly, big up to all of you. Much respect.
Right, so we'll have to move on. So Sait, how would you line up Arsenal in this game?
I would line up as same team as we played last 2 games. Ramsdale in goal, Ben White right back, Saliba, Gabriel centre back, Zinchenko left back, Partey, Xhaka, Odegaard, and at top I would play Saka, Jesus, and Martinelli. I wouldn't change the team. They've looked good together, and let's see what they can do.
Okay, Manny, what are you doing?
Same thing. I think the 4-3-3 has now replaced the 4-4-2 as a more, dominant position for Arsenal in a way. It could have. I do worry that it might mean that the midfield will be potentially overrun, which means that, it's been mentioned that Saka is not a very big fan of having to come back every now and then, so it might be difficult. But I think it could work for now. I think same lineup as Sait. I wouldn't have any changes, especially given that he's mentioned that Saliba and Gabriel should be the starting centre-back partnership. Spot on. That's the way it should be. Zin and Tommy as the wing-backs.
I have a quick question. With your centre-half pairing, aren't both of them left-footed?
No.
Who?
So Saliba is right-footed and Gabriel is left-footed.
Who plays on the
But
left
then
side?
to be
Is it-
fair, but then to be
Gabriel
fair,
plays on the left and
Okay.
Saliba plays on the right.
didn't we have 2 left-footed players when we went undefeated?
We had 2 right-footed.
Well, yeah, we had the same footed players though.
Yeah.
No,
I mean,
no,
the
we
thing-
do. We
know
do
what
too. I just
do you
wonder.
know what the thing is? Yeah, why this has become a thing in modern football? It's because of football teams now play from the
Passable.
back,
Mm.
and you know, back in
Right,
that
much
days,
more.
centre backs
Right.
wouldn't
Just got rid of the ball.
wouldn't play from
got
the
rid
back.
of it.
That wasn't how football was played. So when the goalkeeper passes it to the defender, if you are right-footed and you play on the right, the angle of the pass opens up and you can directly break the
Exactly.
lines. Where if,
Yeah.
if it's on your weaker foot, the opposition can press
Exactly.
you and get the ball. But it's not beyond you can still play 2 right-footed or 2 left-footed. It's just this is why it's kind of important and why we see more goalkeepers being ball-playing goalkeepers like Edison,
Well,
Allison, Ramsdale,
Yeah.
etc.
I'm
But
gonna
look
probably.
at Manchester United. They had Gary Neville and Dennis Irwin, who were both right-footed. Irwin was
Yeah,
on
modern
the left.
football,
Yes,
like
yeah.
it's football changes all the time.
It
Yeah.
does change, but people
Remember
still
when
want-
football teams used to play with 5 attacking players, the double youth
Yeah.
formation? Like,
Yeah, those were the days.
yeah,
Yeah. But yeah, we're gonna move on anyway. Because I'm gonna we're gonna wrap this up soon. So yeah.
you got enough of Patrick and his propaganda for KC. Is that why?
No, I just got fed up with you being on here.
I was just trying to be honest. That's all. I apologize.
You know, Steven is like that bitter ex. He can't let go of me.
Yeah.
King, we don't need any more discussions about bitter exes.
Especially after Moss show yesterday, isn't it?
Oh my gosh.
So I have to say though,
Okay.
I'm a lot more hopeful for Friday than I was before I started this. One is how you guys talking about your lack of depth, and also you're gonna play Ben White at right back versus Zaha. I'm very optimistic about that matchup because of
Mate,
course the other
this guy
side of the pitch.
can't
is
even
6 feet
defend
even.
in the centre of defence. What makes you think he's
Yeah.
gonna do it at the right defence?
Well, I hope you're right. I hope you're right.
Mate, he could even right back. He could even put right back next to his name. Like he couldn't even write it down next to his name because he doesn't know what position is. Like,
But who's your option though? If
Guys-
it's not him, would it be Cedric? Cedric, I guess, would be the backup.
Tomiyasu
right back?
is back in
Tomiyasu.
training, so he
Oh,
will
he's
be on the
but he's not ready
bench.
for Friday though, right?
Yeah,
So
he'll be
he'll be on the bench. Cedric, we could move into a 3-4-3 formation. But the thing is,
Yeah.
Okay.
because of Saliba is so quick and physical,
That's true.
last year it was Rob Holding and Ben White
Oh,
and that,
fucking
or
hell.
Rob Holding or Cedric. That
Oh,
killed us.
Gabriel.
The difference
Right.
now is that we got a centre back that's quick, but it's also physical. So it's going to be interesting to see how he does against Palace.
Now that you said that,
Mateta, right?
I think Mateta fits.
Yeah, I
Because
agree.
Mateta
I agree
is
with it.
so awkward.
Yep.
Yeah,
I agree with
yeah,
I've
you.
never
yeah,
seen him.
You have to
That's a
start him.
shout now.
You have
We
to
also
start
got
him like that.
Gabriel, who's very physical as well. So
Yeah.
before when you played Arsenal, we had 0 physical centre backs or maximum 1. At least now we got 2 physical centre backs. So it's gonna be interesting to see some of the duels.
If
on
we
the
could see
pitch.
more goals, then I'm gonna this season, and I ain't gonna lose my shit.
You're gonna lose your shit anyway. So
Oh, I know. There you go. It's Arsenal. So what do you expect? Here we go. Yeah. Like I said, I'll stick with probably a similar lineup. To be honest, I'll probably because Tomiyasu's out and Cedric's on the bench as well. You'd probably have to start. Ben White. To be honest. Fuck's sake.
but the good thing, with Ben White when he plays right back, is that he doesn't attack, so he's gonna stay.
He doesn't defend.
No, he does. Anyway, we'll see. Otherwise, we're gonna be here back and forward the whole day because I know
Yes.
Steven, he hates Ben White. He can't stand him.
No, because he can't defend.
Stephen's not in the club of one. I don't like him either.
Take
You can't even be bothered to know who Patrick
Take-
Vieira is. You don't respect the club. Simple as
just
that.
when you put centre back or right back, just back off, right? Because he doesn't need that bit. Because he's not the defending. Like, honestly, yeah, I'll probably have to start. Silver wouldn't be ready yet, so Partey and Xhaka. And yeah, I'd play Saka on the left, Martinelli on the left, Saka on the right, Jesus through the middle. To be honest. But there you go.
I like the sounds of having Granit Xhaka in that midfield.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure you do.
Me too.
Yeah.
But
All you
the
have
thing
to do
is
is
now
Ryan.
with Zinchenko in the team, he doesn't have to defend a lot.
Hopefully.
You know, before he used to be our deepest lying midfielder,
Right.
and he is not mobile or quick enough to play as a DM. But now that when he has a more free role on the 8 and the fullbacks become inverted, so we almost play like a 2-3-5 formation where the centre back plus Zinchenko, Ben White, and Partey, they stay.
Wait, so your fullbacks tuck in?
Yeah, they tuck in when we attack. They tuck in, so we have like a 3-man midfield with 2 centre backs.
Interesting.
And when the opposition attacks us, obviously they tuck back, and
Do
then
they
we
tuck back
already
quick
have.
enough though? Because boy,
Yeah,
we can
because
play
they
on the
don't go
counter.
high because we got 5 players at the back. They don't, like
All right,
before,
fair
like
enough.
Tierney would go and bump forward and he will
Yeah.
overlap. We don't do that anymore, so they don't get caught up out of position, if that makes sense.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
makes sense. Just about.
Yeah,
Anyway,
Tierney being injured has sort of changed the whole game plan, if you will.
there you go.
No more overlapping.
Right, so it'll be interesting to see how this game goes then. I'm going to start with score predictions then. Rich, coming to you, what do you think the score's going to be? You can give a realistic and you can give a biased if you really want.
Bias 2-1 Palace. Realistic 2-2.
Oh, again, Jesus Christ. Patrick, what are you going for?
As I said before we started the show, I was much more pessimistic. But listening to you, I definitely have a lot of respect for Arsenal. But based on how you guys are talking about some of your defenders, well, in particular Ben White, I'm going to go 2-1 Palace, both biased and I mean before I was going to go 1-1, but honestly I'm going to go 2-1 now. So we shall see.
Mm-hmm.
You do realise, Patrick, that White might not play on Friday.
But again, what are your options though? If it's not White,
Well,
who
you
plays?
mentioned-
Tommy Ellison's not going to be ready. So who is it? Is it going to be Cedric? Because Cedric got torn one last year by Zaha, so that wouldn't bother me.
You don't want it to be Cedric.
You don't want to. He's not an upgrade because if it's not White, if it's not Tomiyasu, I'm not worried about your right back. Again, I'm just saying because how well Wolves playing. I'm not putting down your team at all. I just think that matchup worked for us better than some other matchups across the pitch. So,
Fair enough.
again, if it's not Ben White and it's somebody else, again, I'll still go 2-1. Fingers crossed.
Mm-hmm. Just go through these chats first. 3-0 Arsenal 2-2. They're saying here.
That's my nephew, by the way. It's my nephew. He's an Arsenal fan. Yeah, that's him.
Big up.
Mikey. Yeah.
Is he okay?
He's a big Arsenal fan. I don't know what happened to him when he was young, but that's my
fault. Had to go on loan with the world's best, and he's shown that by showing his quality in the market. But he already shown that when we signed him. And you're telling me that he couldn't replace Holding. He couldn't replace Ben White, Gabriel. You're telling me that? Really? Have a word with yourself, please. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like Ben White, you telling me Saliba can't replace Ben White, Holding, or Gabriel? Either one of them, right? He was supposed to be, and especially when Fofana came in for Leicester, went straight in the team, played every single game every week, right? And he was supposed to be, and Saliba was supposed to be the better of the choice out of the two. They didn't need to go on loan for 2 years.
He would have been an
Didn't need
asset
to.
for us.
He would have been an asset for us last season, and we would have conceded less goals last season. But no, we had to go. We had to spend £50 million on Ben White. You know,
50
All
million
I'm
pounds
gonna
for
say,
what?
yeah, I've watched every game of William Saliba since he was playing
hmm
for Saint Etienne. I'm a big fan. He's probably my favorite player playing for Arsenal, and for me, he's a world-class talent. That doesn't mean that he's a world-class centre back. It doesn't mean that he will ever become world-class. But the talent and the potential that this kid have is amazing. But
again,
the way
sorry. I'll just say I respect your opinion, Nick Cartel, but I completely disagree. Completely.
for me, the way our fan base is, I think it was good for him to go on a loan. If we had a different fan base who wasn't toxic, who if you just make a mistake, all of a sudden you're useless, they call them out, then Sky Sports gonna highlight it, then everybody's gonna jump on it, then I would have said he should have stayed. But because he made a lot of mistakes last year, he made mistakes the year before because he's just 20 years old. You know, center backs are usually and goalkeepers are in their prime in their late 20s.
Early
But this
30s.
kid,
Yeah.
yeah, he's growing, he's become more physical, he looks sharper, better, and he's actually now ready for the season. And let's not forget, last year our team was all over the place. So it wouldn't even have been that fair to him in
Why is
his
that?
first season to play in that Arsenal team. So I think this season he's here. Looks like the manager's gonna play him. Maybe it was that
Say,
hard but longer decision that's gonna benefit us in the longer run. And that's just
I
my
yeah,
opinion.
I I hear your point, but I can guarantee you, if we decided to keep him last season and then put him back on loan, we'd be in the top four right now.
I don't know that.
I
It's
would stand
speculation.
on that statement.
It's
I'd stand on it.
speculation. It could not. I don't know because as I said, Stephen, I've watched every game of this kid, yeah,
Hmm?
and he made mistakes last season that led to goals. So don't think that he's perfect. This is why I don't want the fan base
I'm
to
not saying
think
he's
that
perfect. I'm not saying he's
he's
perfect
he's
though.
gonna come because as a 19-year-old, yeah, to play for Arsenal Football Club is different than to play for Leicester.
Well,
When
yeah, of
Fofana
course.
makes a mistake, no one cares because the Leicester supporters will back him. When you make a mistake on Arsenal, it goes on AFTV, it goes on Sky Sport, it goes on Twitter.
So
Like
why do we buy Ben White then?
mentally, it stresses players, and that's why usually you see that when a player starts to make mistake, they keep on doing it because
Hmm.
it takes a lot. And as a kid, you know, he needed a full season because the thing was this: when we bought him, he had an injury, and then the French league got suspended. So he had only played 6 months of senior football before he joined Arsenal. The mistake the club was that they didn't register him or play him the year before for 6 full months. And for me, that was an awful and sackable offense because if you weren't gonna play him, then loan him out. There
Hmm.
was no point keeping him in the squad until January. That was just ridiculous. But having seen him and playing for Marseille, which is a big club and has a lot of supporters and won the Champions League, it was a
That's
good
all well.
experience for him.
That's all and good, and I completely hear that opinion. But what I will say, and
Yep,
I'll stand on its statement.
you
If
should.
if we
It's
if we
yours.
had him last season, right, we would have been in top four. Because there are some of those games where if we did not concede, like we would have we would have won the games or got points out of them. So and we only missed it by 1 point.
And what's
So
interesting now is that Tavares has gone on loan to Marseille. I keep saying that, you know, he's going to have the time of his life. They're in the Champions League. if the coach was able to get
How is Tavares getting Champions League football?
if the coach was able to get a tune out of Saliba and make him do well,
after Sait roasted this guy. So you told him he had no task talent whatsoever. He's done. He's finished out of here. Now he's playing.
No, I said I don't rate him at Arsenal. I don't think he's an Arsenal level player, and I don't think he was good last season.
Well, he's now in the Champions League.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that he's any good still. There's a lot of bums that plays in the Champions League. There's a lot of bums that won the Champions League.
I'm just saying.
Like Kolasinac plays for Marseille. It doesn't mean that he's any good, you know.
And anyway, well, Sait, I'm gonna I'm gonna ask you.
Yeah.
What's the scoreline gonna be?
I think 2-1 Arsenal is gonna be a tough game. Selhurst Park is no joke, but I'm gonna back the team, and I think we're gonna win 2-1. And I think Saha will score a goal, and Jesus will score 2. So if you guys play FPL, that's a tip.
Okay.
No fantasy Premier League. Yeah, no fantasy Premier League for me, but I'm going for a 1-1 draw. I think it will be tight. It will be cagey. Vieira will have the team set up to defend well, and we could end up getting stifled. And there is actually one more question I'd like to ask everyone here, especially given that we've got, given our guests tonight.
What we'll do first, hang on, Manny, we'll go through these score predictions, right? And then we'll do that last question.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I think maybe you get Rich to... I think he said he needs to go. So if you want to say something and present your channel, stuff like
Rich.
that.
If you've got to go, do you want to shout out your channel or not?
Yeah, seriously, I appreciate having me on. Sorry, I got the girls next door. Got to sort their dinner and stuff.
Man.
Steph coming home and Steph coming home. Like,
no, you'll be in trouble, mate. No, you'll be in trouble. You see this? You see the headphones? You see that laptop? You're banned from it for a month. Okay.
Yeah. The greatest success to peace is not just say yes, dear. Yes, dear. If you want your peace of mind.
Yeah. That way you always your last word.
Hang on a minute. You said that, not me. Right? I'm not getting cancelled for any motherfucker. Okay.
Yeah. And so this is a story which came on BBC.
Guys,
BBC Sport. Yeah.
Sorry, before Rich leaves, sub to his channel. He's just 5 away, I think, from 1K.
Yes.
So if we can get him to 1K today, that would be amazing.
Go and do that right now.
Thank you.
Go and do that right now.
No, honestly, appreciate having me on. It's good to see Patrick as always, man. Make sure to sub to them too. They're doing amazing work back in the nest. So yeah, and obviously King, behave yourself, King, because I know how you go. Stephen, thank you so much for the invite. And Manny, nice to officially meet you as well, my guy.
Cheers, thank you.
I promise.
Great seeing you, Rich. Take care.
Take care.
All right, mate.
Enjoy your dinner. Enjoy making dinner.
Mickey, I get that. Tavares is a different kettle of fish. Tavares is actually shit. He is shit. He's not good. He's a fool.
I think it's not that he's not good. He's not a left back. He's one of them guys. He can only play wing back. He can only attack. So let him go there.
Why the hell did we buy him then?
Listen, but at least, do you know what it is? With the Tavares here, we bought him. He was a young talent. It didn't work. We got rid of him, and now we got in a senior replacement who's maybe even better than our starting left back. So it happens. You won't get everything right, but you want the club to react. You don't want them to keep Kolasinac for 5 seasons. You don't want them to keep Mustafi for 5 seasons. These are the things that we can't do anymore, if that makes sense.
Anyway, my score prediction.
Yeah, you didn't give yours.
Yeah. If I was biased, I'd say 2-1 to Arsenal. If I'm...
Are you going to start a new tradition?
What's that?
You always back Arsenal to win.
Realistically, I think a draw. To be honest, I do see a draw in this game.
I'll
I'm
take it.
going for a draw as well.
I'll take it.
I do see a 1-1 draw. To be fair,
Yep, 1-1. 1-1
Take it.
exactly. Yeah. And so this story came on BBC Sport. Premier League players will be limiting taking a knee. I'm just going to share this, and this might be of interest to some of our panelists, I think. I would have wanted to get Rich's insight, but not a problem. We'll catch up with him on that, definitely. Yeah. So, and there is a Crystal Palace connection. Top flight Premier League players will stop the pre-match anti-racism gesture of taking the knee before every match. The gesture will instead be seen before certain rounds of games, including the Boxing Day fixtures and cup finals. They will also take the knee before the first and last matches of this campaign, as well as dedicated match rounds to No Room for Racism in October and March. And this gesture was also done during the Community Shield. And there was a quote from Zaha who said, he stopped taking the knee in February 2021 because he said at the moment it doesn't matter whether we kneel or stand, some of us will still continue to receive abuse. And this is a very sensitive issue, especially given that, you know, we have a lot of we have a lot of black players and black fans as well. Many people will be affected. So I was just wondering, how would you react to this? Let me get Patrick's opinion and then your opinion, Sait.
Well, I like what Zaha said. I totally respect the fact that he stopped taking a knee. I think at some point it's lost its meaning. So I think the fact that they've decided now to take it during certain times, I think will be more effective. I think you had certain fans sometimes that would boo it, at least in lower leagues that were doing it. A lot of teams in the championship decided not to do it at all. So yeah, exactly. So I think that the fact that they're doing it only certain times might bring it more to the fore as far as importance. Again, I think it's an important gesture. So that they've done in America over here with the Colin Kaepernick started, etc. So I've got no issue with it. I think there are definite issues in sports with racism that need to be addressed. But taking a token gesture doesn't necessarily mean anything. So if they're going to do it, every once in a while now, and when it's done, they do it around certain events like Boxing Day and the first game of the season, and finals. Let's say, I think that would help to bring it out. But it needs to be addressed, and I think that as long as they're doing something of meaning, I've got no issue with that.
Yeah, Sait, what about you?
Yeah, I'm a bit different. Maybe I'll be a bit controversial, but for me, yeah, I'm tired of FA. I'm tired of UEFA. I'm tired of FIFA using people who get abused as a PR for themselves. They don't care about minority people. They don't care about racial abuse. They've not done anything to improve it. And for me, yeah, it's not up to them to tell people when you can take a knee or when you can't take a knee. If there's a player who wants to take a knee every Premier League game, then let him do it.
Yeah.
If they don't want to do it, they don't have to do it, because there's no point telling people what to do if they are doing it because they are forced to do it. Then that takes out the whole meaning of actually doing it. The meaning of taking the knee is to show solidarity to people who got racially abused. If you don't even believe in that or you don't want to do it, then what's the point doing it? So the debate, they've taken it the wrong way, because the problem is the people that are in these positions have never been racially abused. They are not minorities. So they don't understand it, and they don't educate themselves, and they don't do anything to improve it. That's all I'm going to say. I don't want your channel to get banned, so I'm not going to go too far into the subject, but thanks for bringing it up, man.
Yeah, and I've also decided to delete that because obviously it might be controversial. What you've said about it being a matter of choice, said, there is some merit to that. Although there is some fear that those people who refuse to be in solidarity with that might end up getting singled out. I don't know.
And then so it be it. So it be it. I'm one of them, yeah. If the whole world tells me that I need to do something and I don't want to do it, I won't do it. If someone then question me, why didn't you do it? I'll tell you why I didn't do it. If you respect it, fine. If you don't, fine. Life moves on. But again, like for me, I'm not about forcing people doing something they don't believe in. That's just because it kind of, again, it's like a PR thing. Okay, this day we've dedicated to this day, we're gonna do this, and it looks good. And now we've done our quota to solve racism for a year.
I bet you are. Like, it's not just racism. I bet if that final, the ladies' final, went to penalties, I bet you the abuse they got if they lost.
Not even that, Stephen. I bet you, yeah, if the men's team had won the Euros, more recognition, bank holiday, Sir Southgate, he would have been Neil. Where's the energy for the women's?
Dame. DAME.
Absolutely. Look, I've always felt it was important, but I give you meaning. Like a lot of FIFA, UEFA, FA, they're all this, but no action, all fart, no poo. Like, sorry, they are. And how many times are they just going to sit there and it's like when you say, "Oh yeah, but you can go download an app and anonymously report it." So what? You really think people are going to hear that and understand and actually do use it? I guarantee you they won't. They won't. So, because in the end, they don't care because it's just like Sait said. It's how can we make ourselves even look good? Right? How can we make ourselves look better? Oh yeah, we'll support that cause for a month, and then we'll support this cause for a month, but no action's done. Right? If Arsenal lose, right, and Jesus doesn't score the winner, and we lose 2-1, he gets abuse. Then bet you next morning he's got abuse, right? And the thing is, you delete the message on Instagram, refresh the page, they fucking reappear again. So they don't actually delete at all.
How about, yeah, if UEFA, FIFA said that none of our players would be on social media until you put in algorithms that automatically delete abuse,
Yeah,
discrimination, racism, they would have to do it because they
yeah.
wouldn't want to
The
lose these
technology's there, mate.
celebrities. But this is what I'm saying. They don't really care. And that's why for me,
No,
yeah,
because it costs
until
money. It costs
yeah, yeah,
money. That is
yeah,
why.
because obviously if you have to ban, let's say that 10% of the people online are bullies and abusers and sexists. If they have to get rid of them 10%, that's less revenue, less
Yeah,
PR, less,
yeah,
the share value goes down. And this is why we really won't ever see any changes unless unless some of these people decided to start their own social media platform where you can't do it, and then they would see people going over there, then maybe then we would see a change.
yep. But yeah, it won't change. It just won't change. And I wish I could there's something you could do something about it, but we're not the powers that be, so it won't change in the end. Right. But yeah. Despite that, we have a game on Friday night, and it should be a good one. To be honest, I'm hoping it should be a good game. To be honest, now they've debated a lot of it. So he was start an extension, or do you believe he'll say goodbye? And Patrick, final question, and give it to you.
Like I said before, I think he's definitely looking to leave at the end of the season after putting in a great shift for Palace over the last 10+ years, and I wish him all the best. I don't know where he's going to go. Hopefully Europe somewhere, get a chance to play European competition, but we'll see how it goes.
Absolutely. I heard
Yeah, I heard that
Right,
too. Maguire
yeah,
and
heard that.
Ronaldo. Yeah.
Heard that. But there you go. We're going to leave that there. Thanks to everyone that's tuned in. Right, there's been a lot of people that tuned in today, so big every single one of them up that's come in to watch. Patrick, where can they find you?
So back at the nest, you can catch us on the YouTube channel run by D. We also do preview podcast, review show on Sundays, available on all of your downloads, Acast, Spotify, etc. So check out Back of the Nest, and thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. It's been a good time. Appreciate it. Good luck Friday.
No worries. No worries.
I'll subscribe to you, by the way.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
I'd love to say good luck, but I really don't. So I would.
I didn't mean it either, but I wanted to be cordial. You're hosting me. I had to be nice. I had to be courteous.
Oh mate, you can call me a twat. I don't mind.
No, never. Absolutely not. Never.
Manny.
You know the drill. I'm on Twitter, Thangadurai1981. Instagram, Manny Thangadurai1981. No YouTube channel as of yet. Something could be in the pipeline very soon, but until then, I'm happy to be a floating head. Just spewing some guff, chewing the fat. You know how I roll.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. But yeah, we're gonna be back. I'm not gonna do the show tonight. 7. Change of plan. The 7 p.m. show, which is hot off the press show. I'm gonna do that tomorrow. Because two streams today, and they've been out an hour and a half, about an hour or 2 hours off long now. That's a lot, so I'm gonna call that a day because I need to rest. I've got hospital as well in the morning, so yeah. So the 7 p.m. show, which is the hot off the press show, is being moved to tomorrow, and I will rejig the whole schedule and get it all sorted. But yeah, thanks to everyone that's tuned in. Thanks to everyone that smashed the like, share. Thanks to all the donations as well. People donate. We don't get much donations, apart from people just coming in to watch, which is the main thing. So big up everyone that's come in and watched and left a donation. And yeah, make sure you subscribe to follow everyone on here, and we'll see you tomorrow, where we'll be predicting the league table and Matchday 1 fixtures, and then previewing the whole season as a general. That's going to be fun. But there you go. See you. Take care.